thought it was on. Oh, no, it wasn't. Hello. Yeah, that makes a difference. I don't want that background. How can I remove it?
Yes, it is okay.
It's okay? All right.
Yeah.
Seems weird, but yeah.
And welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2025, Patrice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Before starting your session, I want to introduce you to our audience, Patrice.
Hmm.
Patrice Baker is an inspirational speaker, author, and coach dedicated to empowering women over 50. Known for authentic, relatable, and vulnerable storytelling, she creates deep connections with her audience by reflecting their own experiences. Patrice guides women in reframing their stories with compassion and self awareness, helping them move from merely surviving to truly thriving. She believes that true transformation begins within. Through her podcast, Soul to Soul with Patrice Baker, she offers raw and honest insights to help women overcome regret, dissatisfaction, and the fear of starting over. That's a really inspiring bio, Patrice, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Melinda. Hi, and again, this is Patrice Baker, and I am so delighted to be here. Before I let it go, I need to find my slides, Melinda. How do I get them up?
Yes, Patrice, there is a share button below.
There's a share button. Oh,
Hello, Patrice.
yes.
Yeah, there is a share button next to the audio button.
Ah, okay. And select PDF file.
Yeah.
And thank you. I'm going there now.
Is there any issue, Patrice?
Now I'm trying to find my file. Just a
Okay, okay.
moment.
No issues. Please take your time.
Okay, I'm gonna shut this down. Oh well. Okay, I couldn't bring them up. Let me see. Try it again. Oh, I think I know what I did.
Yes, yes, Patrice.
Yeah.
Can I help you with some instructions?
Yes, I'm trying to find my PowerPoint slides.
Okay.
I so
Go to
apologize.
the share the screen and go to the downloads. Then you can find it easily.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see them. Let me see. Okay. It's not that one. Mm-mm. I don't know why they won't come up. They're supposed to be here. And I sent them forward. Let's see.
Patrice?
Yes,
Yeah, can you please share that file to our business WhatsApp number?
I'm sorry, please share it with what?
Yeah, please share that file to our business WhatsApp number that we texted in chat box.
Oh, okay, in the chat.
So
Thank
we
you.
can share from our end.
I may have to go without the slides, which I can do. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, let me just one more thing.
Patrice,
Yes.
are you sharing it to your WhatsApp?
I think I'm almost there. Let me see.
No issues. Take your time.
Okay. I have it pulled up. I don't see it in the. Okay. Do you have it on your end that you can forward it to me? Let's see. Okay, Melinda, I'm going to go forward without them.
Yes, Patrice, please proceed.
Okay, just a moment. Let me open this up. How do I open this to the full screen? Expand here. Oops, no. Good morning, hello, everyone. This is Patrice Baker, and I've had a little delay, so I apologize. My passion is speaking to women over 50 to inspire them to reframe their story, change their story so that they can find one that empowers them and allows them to reconnect and reinvent themselves later in life. Have you noticed women who know how to wear the right jewelry with the right outfit that adds flair and pass spring to their step, a little sparkle to them? They just know how to put everything together to add to their personality. I call those their treasures. And in our society, we often look at what treasures are as being on the outside of us instead of the inside. And so when society sets a standard on treasures like gems and jewels and those kinds of things, and gold and silver, and that allows us to adorn ourselves so that we feel better. Well, what happens with us on the inside? What jewels do we have there where we can also feel like we are jewels and valued by the world? Uh, the treasures of a woman are much more than the gems that we wear ourselves in. Uh, Society places a high value on those things. And although we may try to decrease the price on it because we don't want to pay as much for it, we still have it's still a high price, and we still end up we can't change paying that. We can't change the process. We can't change the standard, but sometimes we can decrease the price. If we want to get the real thing, we have to do that as well. So, what do I mean by treasures? Okay. Uh, I have been disconnected with my PowerPoint, and that was going to show you some videos or some colorful images as I go forward in this talk. It's not always about colorful images, though. We know that as women, we know that oftentimes we're undervalued, we're not seen, we're looked upon in a different way, and we're actually a different standard is set for us on how to be a woman, how to mature as a woman, and where our real treasures lie. We use the gems and the jewels to adorn our outside body, but what happens to our inside body? And how do we allow or make society see us as we truly are? I found two definitions of treasures, and one comes from Matthew. It's not on this slide. Okay. One comes from, good morning. One comes from a verse in the Bible, and it says, oh, I have it right here. It says, for where your treasure is, there is your heart also, in Matthew 6:21. Another one refers to treasures as the invisible attributes, emotions, and experiences that reside in a person's inner being. The treasures are often intangible and can be be shown through actions, relationships, and actual practices. They represent the treasures and the riches that are not lost to time, to circumstance, but endure as a source of strength and joy. Those are the treasures I'm speaking of when I speak of, are you sitting on those treasures? Are they activated? The value of a woman sometimes is not really the true value we carry in as at all. It may be misguided. It may be based on what other people's our actions that people think we ought to take or what we ought to do. They're also often unmeasured. Sometimes it's not. We don't have. Sometimes the story is that you don't have enough worth to measure the treasures inside, and we know that's not true. So how do we awaken that unique powerhouse treasure that's in us? How do we identify where it comes from and what the innate treasures are? I grew up in a household where treasures were not discussed or even valued unless we were going on a treasure hunt or an Easter egg hunt or watching a movie about finding a buried treasure. I was 9 years old when my dad died, and my mother didn't have time to think about treasures. She had to get busy, and she was suddenly solely responsible for 4 young babies. So we were her treasures. Arriving in San Diego, California from Arkansas 3 short years later, in her late 30s, she was a widow, having to raise 4 children ages 18 months to 9 years old. So we were in San Diego, and we were in San Diego so my dad could find a job that he couldn't find in Arkansas and take care of his family. And now he was gone. So she did what she was taught to do. My grandparents were sharecroppers in Arkansas, and they passed on to my mom the seeds of hard work, education, faith, church, service to others, respect, and family love. And she passed those on to us. And she added her own flavor of welcoming others into our home, taking neighborhood children to church, supporting senior citizens when she was one herself, and of always looking her best. Think about what your ancestors have passed down to you. How do they show up for you when you need them the most? And how did their struggle impact your life? What about those life lessons you've learned along the way that have become best practices and that have become your guiding light in making the best decisions for your life? The ones that you use to create a better life for yourself and your family. And how do you use those combined treasures of ancestors and what you have grown within yourself to set the standard for generations to come? Those are about treasures. And how do you embrace your own story with self-compassion and acceptance? The treasures are found in our story, in the ways that we tell it. So how do you tell your story? Is your story filled with the pain of the past? Is your story filled with what you've gone through, what's happened to you, how you feel about it, and the anger that still sits inside of you because of it? Is it the reason why you tell yourself you can't live the life that you want to live? You can't have the joy or fulfillment or friends, loved ones, career, or whatever it is that you're telling yourself you can't do or become? What's holding you back? It's time to reframe. My old story was how my dad died when I was 9 years old. I was left abandoned and alone and lost, and my sense of self-esteem died when my dad died. And I was angry. And can anybody relate? Over time, I realized that that story did not serve me in becoming my best self. And my new story is my dad opted for surgery to pass the physical so he could get a job to take care of his family, my family. It didn't work out as he thought it would. He took the chance, though, for us because we were worth it. However, it didn't work out. I think of him when I take a chance for the greater good or do something that makes me a little nervous or fearful. And I'm so glad he brought us to California. How can you tell a new story that empowers you and sets you free to change your own life in ways that brings you what you desire? Or how you got back up and kept moving forward and changed your life one day at a time? It may be time to evaluate. Evaluate your self-worth and confidence. Have you ever felt overlooked, ignored, or misunderstood and found it impossible to defend yourself because that person was so sure that they were right about you? How did that make you feel? What did you do about it? You do have a choice, and I can think of three things. There are more. If you're in that situation, you could ignore it. You know, when you have confidence in your own self-worth and you're less prone to listen to the criticism or comments of others, you can take time to decide if a response is necessary or even wanted. The next step, the option is you can get mad and agree. I did say you can get mad and agree. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. There are times when we have been so beaten down or become so disillusioned with ourselves, we get mad at the other person and then we punish ourselves for not being what they said we were or ought to be. Because somewhere deep inside of us, we believe what they say is true. You can tell yourself, this third option, you can tell yourself the truth. Sometimes I'm wrong. After all, I'm a work in progress. And maybe it's not what I thought. Or it wasn't intentional. They may have been distracted. I'll take time to talk to them later. Or I need more information. I don't know what happened. Or I'll check my own feelings and emotions before I do something else. Check in with myself and get help from a friend. Have you ever needed to check in with yourself when your emotions were kind of running the show and you need to take a pause and slow down a bit so that you can connect with what you're really feeling? Or it may be time to expose or work on some hidden treasures that we've not embraced but have been there all along. We carry many treasures. Some of us have patience as women, have patience to teach others, wisdom to lead, empathy to relate to others' pain and understand them, the energy to be good cheerleaders for others and build an ability to mix flavors and ingredients into a mouth-watering meal, or the curiosity of an investigator or a bottom line person who can get to the heart of the matter. What about those people who always know how the movie is going to end? And what about those with insight into helping others organize and manage their day-to-day schedules so we can keep our sanity? We call them lifesavers. And some have a green thumb. They know how to grow money. I want to be their friend. In either case, it's time to raise your value. Give yourself permission to be who you truly are and embrace all of you. Create your own value system. What happens when you're told there's a problem with your treasure or something that you really hold deep within you and you're proud about sharing with others? Or your child, they're just not right. Or when others can't see your potential. Or knowing that someone has identified you or someone you love as insufficient in some way. Or that you don't fit in. Well, the truth is you don't. Your value and worth is not measured by society or by other people or even by your family. You get to do that for yourself. It takes time and wisdom to decide what is important to us, to create value system that reminds you of who you are, of what you decide to do, and most importantly, why you choose to do it. Ask yourself, what are my core beliefs and the treasures on the inside that remind me of the powerhouse woman that is inside of me? What has been the driving force in your life when you wanted to give up? The answer to the question of how you begin to identify treasures on the inside that have helped you make it through the struggles and challenges you have faced along the way and helped make you a better person and a person of value. I started out with the seeds handed down to me through my mom: hard work, education, faith, service to others, respect, family love, and I allowed them to percolate on the inside. I massaged them and measured them over time. And the because seeds mean different things to different people. Those seeds are your treasures. I added lessons learned, wisdom, grace, and a desire to answer my calling and serve them to my children. It ain't easy with all the bright lights and the beautiful young people doing beautiful things with other beautiful young people. Society has all sorts of ways to tell you that that you are inadequate, not enough, or sometimes they tell us we're too much. When we have designed our value system based on the ways we have survived, created a new story, and used it to thrive, we can choose to live on our own terms and tell our own story. And this is the juicy part. We get to give ourselves permission to raise our value. Even when we believe we're all used up and don't have anything else to give, and we want to sit down. We've raised our children, other people's children, escaped bad relationships, gone through tribulations that almost took us out, lost the love of our lives, cried, prayed, fell down, got back up, and kept moving forward. Sometime on automatic pilot, not knowing how we made it from one place to another. The thought that we ain't done yet is not what we want to hear. I see a question: how can women begin reframing their stories with compassion? By looking at the situation for what it is. When my dad died, I was 9 years old. I was a little girl. I could not have been responsible for anything that happened, and it wasn't personal to me, but I took it that way. I felt like I was deprived of something that should have been mine. Instead, I can look now at that 9-year-old girl who wanted things to be the way she wanted them to be. And unfortunately, that was not the life that was happening around her. And her dad if he could have been there, he tried, because what he did was he wanted to pass the physical to take care of us. And so now, with looking at it with compassion and understanding what was actually happening, that allowed me to look at it differently and take the beauty from it and then use it to support anything in my life that I wanted to do and face any challenge. Thank you for the question. You know, like I said, even when we think there's nothing left for us to do when we're all used up, that's not true. There is so much more for us to do. Is someone in your life telling you? Is someone in your life telling you there is more and you aren't listening? The question from Mia: How do you believe transformation? Why do you believe transformation begins within? Because it's an inside job. Everything that happens on the outside is reflected on the inside of you. Your experiences, your life changes, your triumphs, your failures, they're recorded on the inside and they come out as an emotion. They come out when you don't want them to. They come out and control the scene when you think you have everything under control. And so that is so basically, in order to take a hold of yourself, understand and love yourself from the inside out, we often need to be transformed. And it comes from the inside out and not the outside in. Thank you for that question. So, permission to raise your value. I have a slide, you can't see it, but it says, give yourself permission to raise your value. And there's a little quote, and you put your name in there. Having discovered treasures within myself, give myself permission to raise my personal and spiritual value as a powerhouse woman. That's what I want for you. That's how we can look at ourselves differently. That's how we can take what we've done and add to it, and use those experiences, those strengths, and even a few of those weaknesses, so we can ask for help. We used to think we had to do it alone. I came from the generation of Rebel and Lone Ranger, and if you remember those TV shows, you're dating yourself, as I am. However, after a while, I learned that doesn't work well for me. And so I buried the treasure of patience. I did not want to use it. I did not think I needed to use it. However, over time, when those other treasures, which kind of turn against you, they don't work as well. I had to then sit in my patience and stand up and realize that was something that could set me free. And it did. Common fears that we face there's so many of them, because we are changing as we move through life. We start out as as a child, moving into our adulthood, moving into our motherhood, whatever choices, our careers, and all those things. And then something happens at a certain point. We get to a midlife. We won't call it a crisis. We get over 50, and we are looking at things differently, and different experiences that are happening to us. And all of a sudden, our strength turns into fear. We're uncertain about what's going to happen next. We've lost the loves of our lives and we don't know what to do. We are in a new lifestyle. A new lifestyle is happening around us and we don't know where we fit in. And so as things change around us, which they will, for us to thrive and to be consistent in who we are and grow as those life changes happen, we have to face them in a different way. And acknowledging the fear is the first step. What am I going to do now? Who am I going to become? Who do I want to become? Can I do it? And as we enter in these new phases, if you will, that we rediscover who we are in this new space, in this new season. And that's a joyful thing. Once you get to the place of connecting with that person on the inside and using that and all that we've learned and know in this season to make different choices. When you identify your treasures, think about those that give you the most pleasure, joy, or fulfillment. Write them down. Ask yourself, can I do more? And give yourself permission to find out. Can I have more? This is just for you. Can you have more? Can you do more? And can yourself give yourself permission to release some of those old stories and old paradigms to embrace what is new within you? My wish for you, in one of my slides that you can't see, is to embrace your life with grace. Let joy guide your way. Allow your unstoppable spirit to make a difference each and every day. Thank you. It's an inside job.
Yes, Patrice, you have done really great job. And this
Thank
is a very informative session. And our audience got your answers as well. And thank you so much for your valuable time.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
And be on the backstage and join the next session, please.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.